welcome to this evening's presentation by Financial Halo of our MedXPrime program. This is all about the DNA test you've probably heard so very much about, the pharmacogenetic test, typically referred to as PGx. And in our time together this evening, we'll also be talking about the other services that we provide as part of the MedXPrime suite of services, and also the business model, the opportunity that we represent. But first, let me touch on our legal disclaimer. We are a very, very legally compliant company, very proud of that. So without going through it line by line, just want to let you know that we do enter into marketing agreements with our several service providers. They create, manage, and administer the programs we offer, and of course we are their marketing arm. We bring to them clients and customers, so it's a great working relationship and really works well for everybody involved. And as I noted, later on in our presentation we'll be talking about the business model of MedXPrime, and to help illustrate the compensation that's associated with that, we'll be reviewing the compensation plan by using some hypothetical illustrations. I want to make sure everybody has perfect clarity that those are not guarantees of income, not projections of income, really just a means by which we can show you the mechanics of the compensation plan using a certain set of circumstances, and again, those hypothetical illustrations. So with that, let's get started by introducing you to our company, Financial Halo. Established in 2013, we launched the company with a suite of services that are oriented to financial restoration and protection for people. And those are represented by my Tax Halo, quite effective, world-class company that helps people that are being charged by the IRS for back due taxes and other issues. My Debt Halo, a very, very innovative and unique approach to helping people with unmanageable consumer debt in over their head. They will help them resolve that. My Insurance Halo, represented by a company that has a very, very innovative program to help people not only with insurance-related issues, financial planning, but also a living benefits program. Living benefits provides financial security for those people that are confronted with major health consequences as a result of health issues that are typically referred to as catastrophic. So my Insurance Halo is certainly a very, very great program to help people. So our focus this evening is on MedXPrime. MedXPrime is a program that we introduced in September 2014, comprised not only of the DNA test that we refer to as pharmacogenomics and PGx for short, but also toxicology testing, a very, very powerful program for physicians, business advisors, MD, helps them to recover tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars in denied insurance claims, and Medicare's annual wellness visit program. So we'll be explaining each and every one of those as we move through our presentation with you this evening. So some additional introductions. Myself, of course, your host this evening, Ken Newton, co-founder of the company, Chief Operating Officer, along with Sunil Wadhwa, CEO, President of the company. And Sunil and I go back, well, some 25 years now, close personal friends, business associates, having built very large national sales organizations, international sales organizations, and been industry consultants, corporate trainers, officers for companies. And I share that with you just so you'll appreciate we have a full scope of experience in creating Financial Halo as the type of company that anyone would be proud to be associated with. We do think of ourselves as having a family corporate culture. We are vested in the success of each and every one of our representatives. We promise to make each and every decision based on what's going to work well for our representatives. We full well understand that if it doesn't work for the representatives, it can never, ever work for the company. A large part of our corporate culture is simply that we are all in this together, and that's how we operate Financial Halo and MedXPrime. A few more introductions to our scientific advisory board for MedXPrime's healthcare professionals that we know well and esteem. They are available to help guide and direct us as we build this company. So with that, let me begin my time with you this evening by framing my remarks around really two basic questions. And this is, the first is, do you or anyone you know take medication? And here's the point of this, friends, is that today in the United States, there are over 4 billion prescriptions written by doctors for their patients. Staggering number, right? And if you take into account the population of the United States, 320 million, give or take a few, and discount the number of people that don't take any medications, and we're left with perhaps 250, 275 million people taking 4 billion prescriptions. Huge number of people taking an absolutely stunning amount of medications. And here's the point for that, is that we know, of course, that the more medications one takes, the greater the risk of an adverse drug reaction, which is a serious, serious health consequence. And that brings me to my second question. Have you or anyone you know ever had an adverse drug reaction? Because if you have any knowledge of this, friends, family, yourself, acquaintances, then you know that it's a very, very debilitating health issue with major health consequences, and can result in people being hospitalized, not just for days, but for weeks and even months, with effects that can last into the years. More importantly, it can cause the very, very tragic and untimely death of many, many people. So with adverse drug reactions, we have a significant health issue. And with this DNA test, this PGx test that we want to share with you this evening, we have the opportunity to introduce quite literally a life-saving test. Because with this test, it is unique to each and every one of us, because our DNA is unique. The test is specialized for us and only us. And it's going to allow the doctor to look at your genetic profile and determine, from the way that we metabolize or process the medications that we take, we break them down inside our bodies, able to determine exactly what medications are going to work best for you, which are not going to work for you at all, importantly, which may have harmful side effects, but most critically, those which may have catastrophic interactions leading to those very, very severe adverse drug reactions, and again, one's unfortunate death. So with this PGx test, your doctor is going to know absolutely what is right for you. There's going to be no more guessing what to prescribe. And we all know that, pretty much over the years, doctors have always been able to diagnose with all the science and technology available, and now with this PGx test, doctors have the capability to treat with all the science and technology available as well. Very, very important, fundamentally significant shift in how doctors diagnose and treat their patients. Now, with PGx testing, we are now seeing this entire new frontier, an entirely new paradigm of care that doctors can utilize for their patients. And in one way, it is a new frontier, but it's also important to know that PGx testing has been around for 8 years now, having been utilized in specialized areas of medicine. It's been demonstrated to be a very effective and a very sound procedure and practice by which doctors can provide much safer and more effective diagnosis and treatment. So while it is a new frontier, it is well documented to be something that doctors can find valid, credible, and effective. One of the things that's confounding to us is that despite this 8-year track record and significant documentation, so very few doctors have actually any understanding or appreciation for PGx testing. Very, very few doctors really understand the value and the importance of it. So, that sets up our purpose as a company to educate and inform every doctor, every patient out there, to help them understand the importance, the value, and really the urgency of implementing PGx testing. So that's what we're going to be talking about over the next several minutes, is why PGx testing is this breakthrough and very, very significant improvement in patient safety and healthcare. Now, with adverse drug reactions, there are just some very sobering statistics associated with this. Today, there are over 2 million people hospitalized each and every year as a result of ADRs. And of course, as our population ages, that number just goes up. FDA tells us that each and every day there's over 2,000 severe, life-threatening ADRs. That's a daily number. It's amazing. And that tells us that in the United States today, there's over 125,000 adverse drug reactions each and every year. It's kind of an amazing thing to say if you think on it, that here we are in 2016, and the prescriptions that doctors write for us are the 4th leading cause of death in our country, second only to heart attacks, cancer, and chronic upper respiratory ailments. So fourth leading cause of death, and clearly something is out of whack here. So we as a company have a very passionate commitment to really help resolve this issue for so very many people. There's a huge number of amount of dollars spent as a result of adverse drug reactions in the healthcare system, 136 billion each and every year just because of ADRs. And again, we note that the older patients out there, those Medicare patients age 65 and older, have a particular sensitivity because the older patients tend to take more medications. They have more potential for adverse drug reactions. Average Medicare patients take 5 to 8 drugs, but some take amazingly as many as 20. And here's the truth of it, is that patients taking over 11 drugs have a virtual certainty of an adverse drug reaction, a 96% chance. So, here we have a very, very severe health crisis in the United States by any measure. And while statistics are telling, and statistics can be compelling, they are just statistics. They are just numbers. This came home to us in a very real and personal way early on, not long after we introduced MedXPrime. The daughter-in-law of our certified representatives, Kerri, whom you see featured in the photo there, 37 years of age, mother of 5 beautiful kids, as you see there. Kerri's having a health issue, was being treated with several medications, and had not had the benefit of a PGx test. She was having some side effects, and over the course of the weekend, was feeling very, very poorly. Sunday afternoon, she laid down to take a nap, and that day, Kerri passed away. She never woke up from that nap, and passed away as a result of an adverse drug reaction, leaving behind this family that will never have her as a part of them again. This makes it so very real. So think on this. 125,000 people each and every year. That's on the order of 350 people die each and every day as a result of adverse drug reactions. 350 families lose a loved one as a result of something that we believe now can be resolved. It doesn't have to happen. To dramatize that, here's a way to think on that. The 350 people per day, that's the equivalent of a jet airliner crashing into the ground, killing everyone on board every day of the year. Every day of the year, 365 days in the year. And if that were happening, think of what we would be experiencing. It's all anyone would be talking about. It would be all over the media, wall to wall, 24/7. The air transportation industry would have shut itself down. There'd probably be congressional investigations. But here we have the same number of people dying as a result of ADRs, and we don't have any media outcry. It's not anything that we're all talking about. The healthcare industry certainly not shut itself down, and we see no investigations. And you understand why, of course, because these deaths take place in very quietly in the corners of our world. There's no drama to them, but it's no less an issue. So again, we establish ourselves as a company that's absolutely committed to doing something about this and resolving this, because now we can. We have the technology, we have this PGx test, and we're certainly intending to make this a significant health resolution for this crisis. Now, it's not that the PGx test is experimental or a clinical trial in any way. As I said a little while ago, it's been utilized in specialized areas of medicine for going on 8 years now, so it's well documented. But also there are some very prestigious, very credible medical institutions that have adopted PGx testing. The Mayo Clinic certainly tops the list. Everyone's heard of Mayo, but also Vanderbilt University Medical Center, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. They perform a PGx test on each and every patient. That's how strong their belief and their understanding of this is. The Icahn School of Medicine, Stanford University Medical Center, the George Washington University Medical Center in D.C., the famous Johns Hopkins Institute, Cleveland Clinic, Duke Medical Center, the very large Hospital Corporation of America, and many others are joining the ranks. But all of these represent major research and teaching facilities that understand where the technology is going and are innovative. So we feel that we are in very by seeing these types of institutions adopting PGx testing. And if we were to say it simply, this in a quick, concise statement, personalized medicine is simply the science that allows us to predict a response to drugs based on an individual's complete genetic makeup. And by virtue of that, now doctors can customize their patients' medication management. They can individualize their drug therapy. The whole point is to decrease their potential for adverse drug reactions. And of course, you know, the entire purpose of a doctor's care is to increase the effectiveness of their treatment plan, so that now, with this PGx testing, a patient can receive the immediate benefit of the medication and avoid any potential adverse reactions. So with this PGx testing, now we see that this, you know, approach that's kind of always been used. You probably have experienced yourself and with yourself or your family, where, you know, you'll go to a doctor and they'll make a prescription for you, and then depending upon your age, your gender, your height, and your weight, they'll prescribe a particular dosage. And then over a period of time, they'll have this, you know, trial and error approach where they'll dial it in. They'll dial it in by increasing the dose, having us come back and report how it's going, or maybe run some tests, and maybe decreasing the dose, or maybe even changing the medication out entirely. And then, of course, you have to start over. While all this goes on, it could take, you know, weeks or even months to get it right. Well, in the meantime, the patient, again, is not getting the full benefit of the medication that was intended and may be experiencing some health issues. So with PGx testing, we now see that the doctor has the right information, using the right drug in the right dose right from the very beginning. And, of course, patient care is just totally enhanced as a result of that. And, you know, there's another perspective here from the doctor's point of view that argues very, very strongly to implement PGx testing, and that is it simply reduces a doctor's exposure of their liability to lawsuits as a result of a patient having an adverse drug reaction. I think we all probably recognize we live in a very, very litigious society. We're seeing the ads by the attorneys on TV and radio looking for victims, looking for plaintiffs, so they can, you know, find somebody to sue, somebody with deep pockets. Well, certainly physicians are perceived, along with their insurance companies, as having those deep pockets. So here's a means by which doctors can create a very, very strong defense. Here's a cartoon that kind of speaks to that whole issue. His meds, and he says, I forget, if I have an adverse reaction, do I call my doctor or my lawyer? You know, kind of a sign of the times, right? But physicians are sensitized to this. They're aware of this, so of course they'll appreciate that by using PGx testing, they can demonstrate very effectively, should they be sued, that they're using all of the science, all of the technology available to them to actually prevent that from happening. And of course, that's a very, very effective defense. Now, another thing we see that's extremely encouraging to us is the increasing coverage by the mass media of this genetic approach to diagnosing and treating patients, this personalized medicine. Network news, cable news, online publications, across the media spectrum, we see increasing support and awareness being made of this. ABC News talking about drug reactions, creating huge number of hospital admissions. NBC News talking about genetic tests that can prevent drug reactions and also the worst side effect you've never heard of. Fox had a special not too very long ago, Beware, Danger at the Doctor, talking about adverse drug reactions and other negative consequences of hospital management and medical care in hospitals. So that Huffington Post, major online publication talking about children and cancer and genetic approach to helping resolve that. Scientific American online publication had an outstanding article, again, noting that St. Jude Children's now test each and every patient that comes into the hospital, noting also in a study that 50% of hospital patients get just a single drug each year that could cause serious side effects because of that person's genetic makeup. Strong findings there. They also found in a study that 91% of patients had at least one gene that would prompt doctors to change their dose or their medication. One of the most compelling quotes in the article was by their chair of their pharmacology division at St. Jude's, is that this doctor said, speaking to doctors, if you knew about this genetic information and did not act on it, you would not be practicing good medicine. Now, what more needs to be said, right? So major publications with huge subscriber bases like Forbes talking about genetic testing, Men's Journal talking about the danger of medications that are out there, tests you don't need, medications that are either ineffective or dangerous. American Family Physician also noting the serious issues for older patients being admitted to hospitals at an alarming rate because of adverse drug reactions. This is a very, very outstanding article just recently by U.S. News and World Report. One of the most telling quotes from the article is that by far the greatest number of prescription drug-related hospitalizations and deaths occur from drugs that are prescribed properly by physicians and taken as directed, noting that around 2,400 people per week are estimated to die from drugs that were properly prescribed, except that they were the wrong drugs. So again, all of this is moving so very clearly in our direction. On CNN talking about the real core issue, and that is the push to make genetic disease screening a standardized process. That most medical experts do believe that over the next 2 years, PGx testing will become a standard of care. That is a routine procedure that simply all physicians will be implementing. And to move this, again, further along, we now see that the Surgeon General has written literally an unprecedented, historic letter to each and every doctor in America. Never before happened. And he was urging and challenging the doctors to screen their patients, most particularly for opioid use disorder, which is at epidemic levels in the United States, which implicates the use of PGx testing as a means by which they can, in fact, screen their patients for medications that they should not be taking, or medications or drugs that are being used improperly. So here's his actual letter to those doctors. So again, all of this is moving very, very strongly in our direction. So we're very, very pleased to see both major teaching, research, medical institutions, and the media making PGx testing something that more and more people are becoming aware of. Now, the test itself, really very simple. You can imagine a Q-tip on a long stem, a swab. You may have seen this on a television show, a crime show, or a detective show, or something like that, where the swab is inserted into the mouth on one side and rubbed firmly on the cheek, up on the gum line for about a minute. That's all it takes. It's not invasive, it's not uncomfortable. The swab is then put into a sterile container. A second swab is inserted on the other side of the mouth, again, rubbed on the cheek and the gum line for about a minute. So the entire test takes 2 minutes. Those swabs are then sent to the lab. The lab will run the PGx test and render a report to the doctor. And then once they've done that, they will bill the payer. The payer is either Medicare. They do cover the PGx test for specific health issues. Could be the patient's insurance company. Their health will be billed to cover the test. Many insurance companies do cover the test, increasing number, we're very pleased to see. And of course, when they pay any normal copays or deductibles that are associated with providing services or care under their policy, that's always the patient's responsibility. Now, the laboratory we use is literally an award-winning lab, world-tier, top-tier, world-class lab. They have, just this past year, won a very distinguished award, the Frost & Sullivan Best Practices Award for Technology and Innovation. So we're certainly very proud to be associated with a lab of that caliber. Now, once the test is run, the doctor will get a report. It's sent to them in a very, very confidential manner so that only the doctor or his staff can see it. It can be entered into the patient's electronic medical record, so any treating physician in the future can also have access to it. The lab report is actually designed by doctors for doctors, so it's very, very comprehensive, and yet it's very simple and easy to read. Using symbols and colors, it will indicate to the doctor medications that are dangerous and should be avoided. It'll indicate medications that are a caution with alternatives suggested, and it'll also indicate which medications are ineffective completely and, of course, should not even be prescribed. A very, very important part of this report is the section that talks about drug-to-drug interactions, so the doctor can clearly see which medications may be in conflict with each other and causing problems. Most importantly, if the doctor is considering prescribing additional medications, that they can see if they would have a negative impact on the patient as well. They can also see drug-to-food, drug-to-alcohol interactions with that. So this is a unique report. Most PGx labs do not render that complete of a detail. And also, to our huge pride, the lab that we use covers 50 genes. They report on 50 genes in their PGx test. Most laboratories that do PGx testing report on as few as 5 to 8 genes, or maybe 18 to 20. We report fully on 50 genes. So again, it's very, very comprehensive information. And another real attribute to this test is that the technology that our lab uses is next generation sequencing, or NGS, very, very cutting edge, allowing for massive parallel processing of the genetic information, which provides the doctor the most complete information available today. Now, with this test, the basis for the test is really quite simple. It is a sophisticated test, but the basis is very, very, very simple to understand, and it's simply that depending upon our genetic profile, each and every one of us are going to metabolize or process the drugs inside our body in a different way. As an example, I may take a medication, and because of my genetic profile, I may metabolize that very, very quickly, so it would pass through my system without having the intended effect. So in that case, the doctor would want to increase the dose of that medication. Conversely, I may metabolize that medication very slowly and could build up toxicity, and then I would have some issues, side effects, or maybe even outright adverse drug reactions. So again, the doctor would want to know that to decrease and to not build up that toxicity. And likewise, I may not metabolize that medication at all, in which case the doctor certainly would want to look for something else to prescribe that would address my issues and avoid any further over-medication. So with all of that, we see that this test is very, very effective. You just have to ask yourself, why isn't every doctor in the world knowing about this and utilizing this test? Literally, not a week goes by, friends, where we don't hear from a doctor asking those very same questions. Why don't I know about this? How can this be out there for 8 years and I don't know about this yet? So, here's what we've learned, though, about that. And we implemented MedXPrime in September 2014. So we've been at this a while now. We've talked to literally hundreds of doctors. And what we've learned is that most doctors have heard about PGx testing, personalized medicine, but they don't know about it. They appreciate that it's out there, but really and truly, they have not been able to drill down and understand the importance of it for their practice and their patients. And of course, it's not because they don't want to know. Doctors are as informed as possible. But here's the truth of it: is that doctors are so extraordinarily busy, far busier than most people can even conceive. So they just don't always have the time to read into and to be informed on those developments in medicine that they need to know about. So we take this role on very, very seriously. This is our entire rationale for what we do, is educating, informing every doctor, every patient out there about the importance, the value, and really the urgency of this test. Now, if you came to our webinar this evening to understand the critical issues of adverse drug reactions and how they can be avoided by the use of this very, very simple test, and we hope you have gotten the information that you need, and of course now you probably want to address this with your doctor. So we have made that very, very simple. We have a letter, which you see there, that the representative who invited you here can customize this letter, personalize it for you with your doctor's name, and you can take this letter to your doctor. It's going to explain the basic concepts. It explains to the doctor that you want and maybe even demand to have this test to give yourself the greatest potential for safety and better health. Mostly, it's a means by which our representative can be introduced to your doctor so he can enroll him as a client of the lab and get the test done for you. And of course, we would hope that the doctor would then become informed and want to educate all of the patients in the practice. So if you came to just learn about how to avoid adverse drug reactions and side effects and to help your loved ones do the same thing, then certainly we hope we've been able to provide that information to you. Now, the next part of my presentation, my time with you here, is to talk about the business model of MedXPrime. And if you have an interest in understanding more about how we go about helping people create an amazing, rewarding, personally rewarding, financially rewarding business experience, then please stick around, learn about this. That for what we think of as very, very little activity. It can be done on a part-time or a full-time basis. We can share with people how to create a very, very successful business with MedXPrime. And one of the great attributes of this is that we take this life-saving test and combine it with other services, and we've created what we modestly think of as a brilliant business model. And we say that because it's not like you need any scientific or technical or medical background to create a successful MedXPrime business. You don't. Can be successful in this business. So we hope that you do stick around, that you learn about this, how you can create a bigger, brighter financial horizon for yourself. Now, one of the most important things, our concept, is that we believe in multiple streams of income. Our representatives should have multiple streams of income from each and every one of our services, not just the PGx testing, but the other services that we offer, Toxicology, Annual Wellness Visit, and Business Advisors MD. Now, one of the key advantages with these services, Business Advisors MD and Annual Wellness Visit, is that they also represent major, very significant income streams for the doctor. So I'll take a few minutes here to review exactly how our business model works. We'll review the services and the compensation that's associated with them. First and foremost, let me help you understand the organization and structure of our approach, our business model, and the roles that different people can play. Now, first and foremost, of course, we operate in the healthcare industry, highly regulated at the state and federal level. So anyone calling on a doctor to educate and inform the doctor really has to have a keen sensitivity to the compliance issues that are out there. They have to understand the etiquette and the protocol of calling on doctors, talking to the gatekeepers, working with the decision makers, and certainly when visiting with the doctor, they have to be very effective and engaging so as to earn the confidence and the respect of the doctor. So to ensure that, we have two positions, certified representative and referring representative. The certified representative is one who has the background, the experience to be effective in calling on doctors directly. Whenever anyone joins MedXPrime, we have everyone go through an evaluation process, very simple, quick and easy, but it allows us to understand if somebody has that background to call on doctors. Now, that background is usually somebody with a professional sales experience, ideally in the medical arena, pharmaceutical sales rep, medical device rep, somebody like that, laboratory sciences. It could also be a medical professional, perhaps a retired doctor who is no longer in practice but wants to keep their hand in and continue working. Could be a medical professional of a different type who's just burned out doing what they're doing, or hit an income ceiling, or like most people out there, just needs additional income. So that's a certified representative. That's somebody who's going to be able to operate directly by calling on doctors and educating, informing, and hopefully enrolling them as a client of the laboratory. Now, if somebody doesn't have that background, that's perfectly fine. You can still build a successful MedXPrime business as a referring representative. Referring representative simply works with doctors that they know personally. It could be from the neighborhood, or clubs that you belong to, civic organizations that you serve, or church activities, children's sports or school activities, that sort of thing. But a referring representative simply gets a doctor that they know interested, and then they introduce that doctor to a certified trainer. Certified trainer then takes it to the professional level, meeting with the doctor, and again, informing and educating the doctor about PGx testing. Now, a certified trainer is very simply a certified representative. There's no distinction there. Certified trainer is simply taking on an additional role to help a referring representative build their business. And by virtue of that, then they will share in any commissions that come about as a result of the laboratory being reimbursed for those tests. Now, typically, a certified representative setting up the account will also be expected to service the account. They go back on a regular weekly basis to make sure they have all the supplies they need, to make sure that they're assessing their patients. A referring rep doesn't do that because they don't call on the doctor, so a certified trainer is expected to do that, service the account. However, sometimes the CT does not live in an area that's convenient for them to go back on a regular ongoing basis. So in that instance, we'll have a servicing rep appointed. Servicing rep, again, is just a CR who's taken on an additional role. So they, too, will share in any of the commissions that come about as a result of the laboratory being reimbursed for those tests. So those are the roles that we offer, and works great for everyone to earn the commissions that are now available. So let's talk about that compensation and how that works. It's really very, very simple. Our representatives get paid a percentage of whatever is reimbursed by the payor to the laboratory. Now, a certified representative is going to get paid 20%. Now, the example that we have here is based on a $1,000 reimbursement. We're comfortable using that as an example. Typically, when an insurance company reimburses the lab, it's going to range from $750 all the way up to $7,000. Is quite the range there. Medicare reimburses around $125 to up to $700, so there's a range there as too. So just for this example, we use $1,000. So certified representatives are going to get 20% in this example. 20% of $1,000 is $200. They'll get paid $200 on each and every PGx test. Referring representatives are going to get 10% or $100, and they'll share that with the certified trainer who gets 8% or $80, unless there's a servicing rep, and then, of course, they can split that equally. Now, it is pretty straightforward and very, very simple. There's an additional means by which our representatives can create yet more income, and that is very simply by building a sales organization. So it's not required, it's not mandatory. People have the option of whether they want to or not, but if they do, then they will receive commission overrides based on what that sales team does. So we've taken a page from the direct selling industry. Many industries use this type of commission override approach, the financial services, insurance, real estate, tax preparation. Really, most sales organizations have a similar structure in which you have perhaps a district manager who gets an override on the sales team, the regional manager who gets an override on his group, and of course the vice president of sales gets an override. So it's a similar structure that we have adopted to empower our representatives to really compound their earning potential and to leverage the time, effort, and energy of a team that they're helping to create. So in this instance, we will pay commission overrides on 6 levels of your sales organization. That's going to range anywhere from 1 to 5% of whatever is reimbursed, and in this example, that would range from $10 to $50 on each and every PGx test. So that can create a very, very significant additional income. Now, here's another way to look at it, just to help you understand more clearly. Here's a single certified representative without the benefit of a team, just what they do personally. Over a period of time, perhaps a year or 2 years, whatever you're comfortable with, really, we have a CR who sets up 10 doctors. Now, across the United States, we know that typically, on average, doctors have around 2,500 patients. So in this example, let's say that the doctor tests 20% of the patients. That's just 500 patients. And then, to be conservative, let's say the lab just reimburses 20% of those tests. So we have 10 doctors testing 500 patients. That's 5,000 tests. And if the lab only is reimbursed on 20% of those, that would be 1,000 tests that are reimbursed. Now, if you receive commission of $200, friends, that's $200,000 income. I think most people would agree that if that took place in a year, that would be fabulous. But really, even if it took place over 2 years, that's pretty darn good income for just showing doctors a new means by which they can provide better health care for their patients. So PGx testing can be very, very lucrative. Now, we have some excellent tools to help you gain the attention of the doctor. In a very, very short period of time, we have the era of personalized medicine, featuring the director of pharmacogenomics at the Mayo Clinic, the dean of the Vanderbilt University Medical School. The White House weighs in, other medical professionals speak on it. So talking about the value, the importance, but mostly the inevitability of this becoming a standard of care. So again, in 4.5 short minutes, there's so much credibility here that the doctor will absolutely realize that, here's something they need to know additional information about. We have Wall Street Journal's Health and Science video, 3 minutes, and again, very, very credible, very effective. Mayo Clinic's very own video, 2 minutes. And again, all of these are available to share with the doctor to kind of stop them in their tracks a little bit and help them understand this is something you need to know about, and here's why. And then they'll, of course, give you additional time to drill down into the details. We have some just excellent marketing materials, Trifold brochures, flyers, presentation folders. We have some great posters. These are so effective. These are 18 by 24 inches. You can put them in the reception area, the hallways, but most especially in the examination room. They really work well to gain the attention of the patient and read this while they're waiting for the doctor. And, you can imagine when the doctor comes in to visit with them, they'll say, Doc, this is something I would like to know more about. I'm on meds, and it seems to me this is a test that we need to be having me take. So, again, it's a way to establish a dialogue between the patient and the doctor to make sure that those PGx tests are actually done. And, again, we talked about this custom letter. Any patient wanting the PGx test, somebody that you talk to, neighbor, friend, family member, that taking medications, and they can have this customized for them, take it to the doctor, and it's a means by which our representative can be introduced to the doctor and then to enroll the doctor as a client of the laboratory so they can get this testing taking place not only for the patient, but hopefully for all of the doctor's patients. So we talked about the power of our multiple streams of income concept. Toxicology testing is another stream of income. It is similar to the PGx testing, but different, because the PGx test is typically a one-time test. Toxicology testing is not. Toxicology testing is a urine test that the physician utilizes on an ongoing basis to monitor the medications that their patient is on, maybe even looking for illicit drugs. But a toxicology testing means that a patient will be taking this test multiple times, creating multiple reimbursements, which means multiple commissions for our representatives. So this can be very, very compelling income. Again, same compensation plan as you saw before. Certified is going to get 20%. In this instance, we're using $500 as the reimbursement because that's about the average toxicology reimbursement out there. So 20% of $500 is $100. So $100 income based on each and every tox test. The referring representative is going to get $50 on every tox test, and they share that commission with the certified trainer, who's going to get $40 on a $500 reimbursement for 8%, unless, of course, there's a servicing rep involved, and they'll share that. And again, if you're building a sales team, commission override's going to accrue. In this example, that would be anywhere from $5 to $25 on each and every toxicology test. So again, looking at it from a narrative perspective, let's say you have a CR who goes out and sets up 10 doctors, again, over whatever period of time you're comfortable with, but let's say that these 10 doctors just do a very, very conservative 10 tests per month. And typically, doctors are going to do it at least 100 and sometimes more, but again, we're going to keep this very conservative and say 10 tests per month. So that would be 100 tests. Now, if our representative received $100 commission on those 100 tests, that's $10,000 per month. So again, now you can begin to see the power of having multiple streams of income with PGx and toxicology combined. Now, another very, very valuable service that I want to explain and describe for you is Medicare's annual wellness visit program. This is not a test. This is actually an evaluation. It's a questionnaire that the physician has the patient answer. Medicare introduced this back in 2011, so it's been around for a while, and there's two purposes for this. The first is to increase the health, well-being, and safety, to improve that for all those Medicare beneficiaries, but also to reduce the cost of health care being provided to them. And the AWV, the annual wellness visit, serves those purposes very, very well when it's implemented. It will help the physician to reduce the onset of any chronic illnesses and to prevent catastrophic accidents from happening. It pushes out long-term care and helps keep patients out of the hospital for as long as possible. But here's the issue. Medicare has determined that very, very few physicians out there actually implement the AWV. Less than 15% of doctors are using this. It's kind of a head-scratcher until you understand what that's all about. And here's why. Because the AWV is presented by Medicare as a hard copy questionnaire. somebody on the doctor's staff, a nurse or a medical assistant, has to sit down with the patient, ask the questions, record the answers, entertain any side conversations that may come up, and then at the end of that, they need to prepare a report for the patient, for the doctor. They have to schedule any more follow-ups, any additional screenings, any more services that may need to be provided, and then they need to document all of that for Medicare. So it's very, very time-consuming. A single patient could take an hour or more. And, of course, that means that the nurse or the medical assistant is taken out of their primary job while they're doing that. So it really disrupts the productivity and the workflow. It's very disruptive to the practice. The doctor also has the option of hiring somebody to do this, but that's about the last thing they want to do is, to add to their staff. So, that's the reason that just so very many doctors have found it very, very cumbersome to implement the program despite its advantages. So what we have done is actually partnered with a company that has a genius attack approach to it. They actually implement the entire program for the doctor. They call it the clinic within a clinic. It's referred to as their AWV 360 program, and it's designed to do everything for the doctor. All the doctor has to do is say, yes, this is great, and then when it's all done, they bill Medicare for having the services done. Now, that means they talk to the patients. They have a nurse come in and do the assessments, the counseling. They do the evaluation itself. They set up the appointments. They follow through any additional findings or screenings that need to be addressed. They'll handle that. They provide all of the integration with the doctor's electronic medical record. They provide all of the documentation for Medicare. Complete A to Z. They do it entirely for the doctor. And the doctor's benefit is that they will get not only the annual wellness visit, but also the alcohol screen, depression screen, advanced care planning, and most of their patients, about 70%, will qualify for the cardio disease counseling as well, each and every year thereafter. Now, not only does the doctor get the benefit of this information, but they also are going to be reimbursed by Medicare about $280 for those screenings, which means that they're going to net about $100 per patient. That's a whopping reimbursement. This is the way that works. Medicare is going to reimburse them $280. The doctor will agree to pay our provider $180 for completing each and every one of those AWVs. So they're going to net about $100 per patient. Now, what we're going to target typically, on average, is around 15 Medicare patients per day, twice per week. So that's 30 annual wellness visits each week, 30 times 4 weeks. Now that's $3,000 per week, $12,000 additional new revenue to the doctor, $12,000 each and every month. Now, on an annual basis, that's $144,000 a year. That's a huge increase of income for a primary care provider. And it doesn't include what Medicare has determined to be kind of on average about $300 additional as a result of more services that may need to be provided to the patient as a result of the findings from the AWV. So great health care for the patient, excellent for the doctor in terms of income and patient safety and health care, but also really great for our representative. Our representative is going to earn around $12 on each completed AWV. Referring representative would earn $5, and they split that. The certified trainer will also receive $5 unless there's a SR involved as well. And again, if you have a commission, you have a sales organization, you receive commission override based on their activities as well. Very, very simple program. All you need to do is simply refer the doctor to our provider. The provider will take it from there. They will do the presentation for the doctor and everything else from them. So this is a very simple referral program. Now, to illustrate the type of income available, again, using the same example as we just saw, 15 Medicare patients per day, twice per week. So 30 patients per week times 4 weeks, that's 120 patients per month, right? Well, $12 on each and every one of those, that means our representative is going to earn $1,400 on a monthly basis, $17,000 per year on a single practice. So you can imagine that over a period of time, it's entirely realistic to set up 10 practices. So now you have the potential of a monthly income of $14,000, an annual income of $172,000 on this program alone. So you combine that with PGx, with toxicology, and now truly you can begin to see the potential of having multiple streams of income with MedXPrime. Now, finally, I want to talk to you about Business Advisors MD. BAMD, we simply refer to that as BAMD. This is a 16-year-old company that medical services organization. They provide a range of services to their clients, all of whom are doctors. Primarily medical billing and AR recovery are their specialties. We became acquainted with this company because the founder, Cash Tandon, whom you see featured there, actually became a MedXPrime representative. He understood the power of what we were offering and wanted his doctors to have the advantage of that. So he became a representative, started doing very, very well. So we got acquainted with Cash, and over a period of time, not only learned about him, but most importantly, we learned about his business. And when we understood what services he provided, we absolutely knew that we wanted to offer those through MedXPrime. So we actually entered into a joint venture, a 50-50 partnership with Cash. Well, a little bit about him, just so you'll know and appreciate who he is. Really smart guy, CPA, MBA. Got his start with top accounting firm in the country, Ernst & Young, doing forensic accounting, recovering lost revenue for huge companies, billion-dollar clients out there. Got very, very good at that, of course. And in 2000, he formed his own company, BAMD, and then added additional services so that in 2008 he moved his company from Chicago to Dallas, where they're currently headquartered. And they have 6 offices across 5 cities, a staff of over 60 full-time, 20 part-time, and growing as a result of our being their marketing arm, with clients located, of course, throughout the country. Now, what is this service that so captured our imagination? Well, the forensic recovery of insurance accounts receivable or insurance claims that have been denied for payment to the doctor. This is an absolute financial crisis for doctors across the country. The numbers are just amazing. Doctors, on average, only get paid 70% of what they bill to insurance companies. Fully 30% of their income is not realized because those claims are denied, eventually written off as uncollectible. Now this is why that happens. It's something that doctors struggle with, but this is why MedXPrime has partnered with BAM, because they have resolved this entirely for doctors. And here's what happens, is that doctors typically use a person on their staff or a relatively small outside company to do their medical billing. These insurance claims that are denied or were denied for a very wide range of pretty technical reasons. And a medical billing entity, whether it's internal or external to the practice, is not going to have the capability to recover that. There are over 8,000 procedure codes. There's 65,000 diagnostic codes, and the combination of which run into the millions. So it's typically beyond the capacity of somebody on his staff or somebody relatively small billing company to address this. They use a medical billing software that's just fine to bill the insurance company and receive payment, record payment. Beyond that, it's really not going to be able to help them recover these very technical denied insurance claims. Now, what Cash has done over the years is fully understood that as a medical billing company, it's a little bit of a paradox that you don't want to immediately talk to the doctor about replacing their current biller. That's a non-starter because while most doctors are very, very dissatisfied with their current medical biller, they're equally reluctant to swap it out because they're afraid their billing could get worse. They're afraid that in transitioning they could lose just thousands and thousands of dollars. So, Cash has understood this. So rather than be like every other medical billing company out there, they have developed this very, very strategic, very smart approach to AR recovery. So they can recover not just tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars for the doctor, and then earn their trust, earn their confidence, so that at that point the doctor will be more than willing to talk to them about replacing their current biller. That's the end game, and that's what it's all about. The Cash has very smartly understood that you need a different, unique approach. So this is a very, very successful strategy that they use. They will show the doctor how to do the AR recovery. Now, the means by which they do that is they develop this very high expertise by developing proprietary software that will identify why the claims are being denied. They have an expert team that just does recovery. That's all day, every day, so they're very, very good at it. So as a result of that, they can recover a very high percentage of AR. Most importantly, if the doctor comes on board as a medical billing client, they can show the doctor how that AR will not continue to build up. Because, again, that's what happens with their current biller. They just choose that easy 70%. That 30% that goes denied just builds up month after month after month, and then it's written off because it can no longer be collected after a certain period of time. So to open this up to the doctor, they will do a completely free sample report. They call it the WOW report. They call it the WOW report because as they review this with the doctor, that's what they hear over and over again. Wow, this is amazing. Wow, I can actually get this type of money back. Wow, this is absolutely great. So they call it the WOW report. It's completely free to the doctor, and they'll turn that report around in about 2 or 3 days. They'll have a follow-up conversation with the doctor. They'll walk them through the WOW report and show them that exactly why the claims are being denied, precisely what needs to be done to recover it, and the numbers speak for themselves. The doctors will then have the opportunity to engage BAND as a client for either AR recovery, but most especially they'll talk to them about becoming a medical billing client at the appropriate time. Now, our representative's role in this could not be more simple. All you need to do as a rep is to set up that appointment. It's a conference call to discuss the WOW report, 10 to 15 minutes. Cash or one of his executive team will simply explain what the WOW report is, how it works, what it will show. And if the doctor wants to see it, then they will say, yeah, I'll like to see the report, and I'll sit down with you, and we'll review it. Now, our representative's role in this is set the appointment up simply by showing a video. Very convincing video, 3.5 minutes. It features the COO of a major orthopedic firm that had $3 million in AR. They were so pleased with the job that BAND did is that the COO agreed to do this video to share with physicians all over the country so that they could also learn how to resolve this for themselves. So you simply show the video. Any doctor who has AR seeing this video is, in my opinion, is going to absolutely want more information. We also have a one-page flyer that you can share. So using those resources, you simply set the appointment. You confirm with the doctor the day before, maybe the morning of, you make sure the appointment takes place, and then as a representative, you are done. You're out of it. Dan does everything else from there. Very, very simple, very easy, referral-based appointment setting, and from that, the doctor is going to have the opportunity to review the WOW report and engage BAND as hopefully not just an AR recovery client, but a monthly billing client as well. Now, if the doctor comes on as a monthly billing client, there's huge advantages. Typically, they're no longer going to have this AR build up month after month. They'll be receiving that instead. So here's some additional income that the doctor will be receiving, just as an example for some of our recent successes. There's a cardiology practice that went from $130,000 to $180,000, $50,000 a month increase. Nephrology practice went from $200,000 to $260,000. Internal medicine gained $70,000, going from $40,000 to $110,000. So, when a doctor comes on board as a medical billing client, typically this is what happens. They're going to see their monthly income increase as a result of more effective, more efficient billing. In these examples, they didn't see any more patients, didn't hire any more doctors, just more effective, more efficient billing. And now doctors can really grow their practice. So they can hire more doctors. They can open up entirely new practices. So when all that happens, our representative has the option for 2 phases of income. First phase of income is from the accounts receivable. The way this works is that the doctor will have the option to have a complete detailed analysis done. Once they see the WOW report, they can order a complete detailed analysis of each and every insurance claim, and BAND will prepare that for a fee. The fee will be about 5% of whatever their total AR is. And in this example, typical doctor practice has around $300,000 in AR. 5% is $15,000. So our representative is going to earn $5,000 based on that option. Now, typically, the doctors exercise one, they pretty much fully realize that their current biller doesn't have the capacity, the time, the skill set, the technology to go about this. They realize that if they could have been doing it, they would have been doing it. So even though it's available, most doctors don't exercise this option. So in that follow-up conversation, the next option that Dan will discuss with the doctor is that they will do the recovery for the doctor for a set fee, and that fee is 30% of whatever they recover. So again, using a 3-doctor practice, typical 300,000 AR. Let's say, keeping the number simple, that BAM recovers 100,000. Well, they'll charge 30% as their fee. The doctor is going to get 70,000. BAM will get 30,000. Our representative is going to get 1/3 of that as their commission on referring that client over to BAM. Now, remember that the entire end game here, the end game is to bring the doctor on as a monthly billing client. So the next option that they're going to offer in this conversation will be where BAM will do the recovery for 15% if the doctor becomes a medical billing client. And of course, that's where most doctors end up because that's what makes the most sense. That's to their advantage, certainly to our advantage as a company and each and every one of our representatives, because again, 15% of 100,000, that means a $15,000 fee. Our representative is going to get 1/3 of that, or $5,000 as commission income. So just from the AR recovery, you can see that it can be very, very generous and rewarding. Now, pay attention to the chart because that means that if you're building a team, you'll also receive commission overrides based on what they do, what referrals they bring to BAM, and in this instance, that would be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 based on those referrals for the AR recovery. So now we have the excellent opportunity to set up long-term ongoing income for our representative as a result of the doctor being a monthly medical billing client. Typical doctor practice is going to bill, it's going to be about 3 doctors billing around $3 million. BAM's fee for that is going to be right at 6%, so it's $180,000 total fee. Our representative is going to get paid $15,000 on an annual basis for that billing. Now, what's great about this is that billing is monthly, so the commission is actually paid on a monthly basis. So if you were to just use a little bit of imagination, right, what if it was a 6-doctor practice? Well, that would be on average around $6 million in billing. That means that our representative for a single account, $1,000 annually, but it would be actually received on a monthly basis. So I guess the question has to be, how many accounts would you like to establish, right? You're not restricted to small 3 to 6 doctor practices. You can refer doctors, medical groups of 20, 40, 50 doctors. You can refer laboratory. We have a laboratory on board that's had $31 million in AR. The account is going to render to our representative anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 each and every year based on just that one account. So again, this can be very, very lucrative ongoing income. And again, just pay attention to the chart that if you're building a sales team, you're going to receive commission overrides based on what they do. So I wanted to share this screen again with you just to remind you how quick, easy, and simple it is. Just show the doctor the video. They will get it. The numbers speak for themselves. Take the opportunity to set the appointment, 10 to 15-minute conference call. BAM will explain the WOW report, and then the doctor has the opportunity to become a client for AR recovery, medical billing, and our representative is now set up for immediate and also ongoing income. So with that, now you can see that, with PGx, Toxicology, Annual Wellness Visit, and BAM, our representatives have a phenomenal opportunity to create some very, very significant ongoing income. So our certified trainers are those people that work with our referring representatives. I wanted to take a moment just to introduce you to a few of them. They do work with our referring representatives to help them build their business, but our CTs can also work with CRs, certified representatives, because it's not unusual for a CR when they first begin to want to have a coach, a trainer, a mentor, somebody who's kind of been there and done that, so that they can have as much success as soon as possible. So if you are with us this evening and you have that background where you've demonstrated your effectiveness in calling on doctors, then we certainly would love to have you on board as a certified trainer as you begin your MedXPrime business. Now, Forbes, not too very long ago, noted in an article that was very, very well researched and documented that for people that are approaching or in retirement, most of those people have not met anywhere near their requirements for financial security in their retirement years. So I bring this to your attention to help you understand that there are just millions millions of people out there looking for exactly what we have. There are over 10,000 people each and every day reaching the age of 65. That's going to continue for the next 15 to 19 years. The retirement community in this country is going to grow at an astronomical rate. And all of those people are looking for something like what we have. Now, it's worth reading. The author of this article approached it from the standpoint of trying to determine if the direct selling industry, of which our business model is exactly that, if it was viable, if it was credible. And here's what he said. He said, I believe that the entire industry is poised for explosive growth and can be one of the most significant solutions to America's current retirement savings crisis. So again, I just want to bring that to your attention to let you know that we have an extraordinarily attractive solution for people that are most interested in increasing their income. So with all of that, if MedXPrime seems like the thing that you've been looking for, if you found your way to us this evening as a result of perhaps your destiny being realized, then we please invite you to join us. A simple one-time enrollment fee of $199.95, and you will be able to market any of the MedXPrime services. You can also market the financial halo services that we described in the beginning. You can focus on PGx. You could just do AWV. You can do a combination of them. All of that's available to you. The only other fee is $19.95 per month website fee for a suite of websites. You also receive a business management system, typically referred to as the back office. In the back office, you have literally everything you need to grow a very, very successful MedXPrime business. There's a training center we call the Resource Library with just thousands of dollars of resources to help you learn what you need to learn and to know what you need. Recorded videos, recorded webinars, PowerPoint presentations, literally everything that you would need. So all you need to do now is just connect with the person that invited you. They have a website. You go to their website, click on the Enroll Now tab. Very quick, easy, and simple. The part of that is setting up your own website, and when you have that, then of course you just log in to your own website. You go to the back office, and then you can begin your own certification process for any of the services that you care to market. PGx, you would take the PGx certification. AWV, you would take the AWV certification, and so on. And then from that, you'll be identified as a referring representative, a certified representative, or perhaps even a certified trainer. Now, we are very, very committed to helping each and every one of our representatives have the success that they hope to achieve and desire. We're absolutely here to help you, so it's a tremendous support system. Just connect with the person who invited you. You always have an opportunity to engage our corporate staff. Sunil and I are personally available to you. Just all you need to do is just give us a call. So all of those resources are available to you. So as I wind up my time with you, I want to mostly thank you for being with us this evening, but I want to emphasize that our representatives have a unique and very opportune business that they can engage here, in which you can do well by doing good. We think this is a phenomenal way to go about life, where you can wake up each and every morning knowing you can do well financially for yourself or your family by doing good, by helping people in these very significant life-saving ways. We are all about the idea that each and every one of our representatives can create a lifestyle by design. And by that we mean that most people, we believe, are probably operating a lifestyle of circumstance, where circumstances are pretty much going to determine how it all goes. We just don't think it has to be like that. With what we have built with MedXPrime, what we have to offer to all those people out there, we believe that with passion and persistence, anyone can have a lifestyle by design with MedXPrime. So we do these webinars every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So we invite you to come back, but bring somebody with you. Invite somebody to this webinar that you think needs to know about PGx testing. Think on that. You could literally be saving someone's life. Invite somebody that you think needs a brighter financial horizon. So many people out there have reached an income ceiling or burned out doing what they're doing, or, like most people, they just need additional income. So thank you for attending this evening. We certainly appreciate your being interested in MedXPrime. We hope it absolutely serves your purpose. And again, we want to invite you to join us because we have this huge mission ahead of us. We need all the help that we can get to realize our mission as a company.